You're superb, and Netflix might have lost one comic book adaptation, but has gained a gem with Sweet Tooth. I just got done watching the first season, and I'm kind of blown away. I really enjoyed this. This is something I didn't have really any expectations going into it. It was just like, this is cool. It looks really high budget, quality, things that people want out of a show nowadays. You put Robert Downey Jr.'s name on anything, say it's going to get attention. And shout out to him for making this happen and everybody that was involved, all the actors, and just, man, this was really dope. But the premise of this is essentially there was this great crumble and people started getting sick. Ironically, this is a, kind of weird story considering we were just in like kind of a pandemic, still kind of dealing with it in certain parts of the world. But there's this great crumble, and out of nowhere, out of this fall of society, because they even mentioned once the internet pretty much went to shit, everything went into, madness from there. But out of that, you got this character named Gus and all these other humans slash animals called hybrids. And this story is really fascinating. I really like how they just world build and set up all these different characters and a lot of different things going forward. I'm really excited to see what they do with a season 2. Based off just how this ended, it's definitely not going to waste any time getting into things. Like I said, I don't want to spoil too much for people that haven't seen this, so I'll just kind of give you the gist of certain characters that they really focus on and, give you my final thoughts at the end. So let's start with the main character. We have Gus. Gus is about 10 or 11 years old. He's part human, part deer. Really interesting. I don't like deer for many reasons. If you live on the East Coast, you know why. Because they're just the dumbest animals on the planet. But this is far from your typical Bambi adaptation. I'm joking. That's, because Bambi's a deer. Whatever. You get my gist. But I like Gus's character. He's very much the heart and spirit of this whole entire series. And he's very important. A very important character. And when he realizes that importance, a lot of things fall down on Gus, and just, it's a lot for a 10-year-old because he definitely has that kid mentality. And we don't know the lifespan of hybrids, but it is mentioned that they can outlast humans, hence why they were created. There is something more sinister that other people have planned for the hybrids, like they want to kill them and experiment them on it, and it's really messed up because they're kids at the end of the day. None of these hybrids are like adults. So also throughout this whole entire show, you get a narration, which I'm assuming that it's Gus, but older Gus, kind of explaining his kind of story and where it started. I really like that. But now that he knows the truth on his origins, how will that change him going forward? Will that kind of make him jaded? If you've seen this, let me know how you feel in the comments below. Just make sure you label spoilers or something like that in case somebody comes across this video and they have not seen this series yet. Moving on to the next character is Jepp, aka Jepperd, aka Tommy, aka T, aka Big Man. He's got a lot of AKAs, but he is kind of the character that crosses paths with Gus, and Gus is on this mission to go find his mother because he has to kind of leave the nest where he's grown up for a majority of his life. So that's pretty much the gist of what Gus as a character wants to do, is find his mother. And Big Man over here goes along with the journey, and I really enjoyed the last episode because they give you a lot of who Jepp is and his dark path. Really looking forward to seeing what they do with his character moving forward in this series. He's a big character. Another big character that kind of tags along with these two is Bear. Bear, she is a really dope character. She comes from this group of, how can I explain it? It's similar to like Lord of the Flies, where it's just nothing but kids there. They don't have any parents, but they look out for other hybrids and stuff and fight against people that want to bring harm to hybrids. Bear is kind of like an interesting character because I feel like you don't really relate to her character or really feel for her character until the end. Then everything gets to connect and you see why all these characters are starting to form a bond or a relationship, because everybody's kind of connected in a way. Everybody has a part to play. Speaking of which, we get into our next character that they introduced really early in the series is Amy. And she kind of runs this whole facility, or this kind of safe haven for hybrids. Really dope character. Don't get to see much of her, and I understand why, and I think we're going to see more of her character going into season 2. And man, I can't wait to see her in action, because she seems very prepared, but she's always been by herself. The kids that she kind of takes care of, the hybrid kids, that's means the world to them. So the way that this first season ended means like we're gonna get a lot more of her character, because she needs to get these kids back. That's all I'll say about that. Another character that we focus on that is important is obviously the Doctor. You always have to have a doctor in these post-apocalyptic type of shows or movies. They're always the important characters. They're always the characters that know more than our main characters or whoever is involved. So his whole deal is he is continuously doing what he's doing, taking care of this little community of people, being their doctor. But he gets kind of thrown into a situation and gets a lot of truth bombs, because he was there when shit started to hit the fan. So really interested to see what they do with the Doctor this time around. Now let's get into the big bad, the villain. You could just call him the General. Not to be confused with General Zod. Shouts to General Zod. But when you first see him, he has a weird look to him. He reminds me of Jim Carrey from Sonic, like Dr. Robotnik. Really weird. But whenever he's on screen, he makes his presence known. He's looking for these hybrids. I feel like his involvement with the whole entire story is a lot more important. Like him and Gus may have something in common. I don't know what that is. Overall, this show was really dope, really well put together. I love how bright and vibrant for a post-apocalyptic show that this is, because normally it's always doom and gloom, a lot of grays, but the color and just everything pops in this, especially if you have like a 4K TV. This whole show is going to really is going to wow you. The budget is definitely up there. I really like the heart and soul that's put into the story. You really, at the end of the day, start to really care for these characters. Is this a masterpiece as the media kind of is toting it out to be? I'm not going to sit there and say that it is, but I will say that this is definitely a hit for Netflix, and it's definitely going to be a show I'm going to be looking forward to for future seasons. And I want to see the growth of Gus's character, based off of what we've seen. And I wanted to see him interact with the other hybrids that are out there. And, I don't know how long that this whole story could possibly go, how many seasons. I could say possibly 5 maybe at max, which is cool. This first season gave you a lot, but I also feel like there's more at play. I don't know, man. But if you've seen this, let me know your thoughts and feels. Don't spoil. But till next time, I will see y'all later. Peace.